Okay, so what we're going to start with is just opening up Photoshop, and we're going to make the grid for the alphabet photography. So I think this is definitely the hardest part of the whole assignment. So if you do not follow these steps exactly, you'll have a lot of difficulties. So I always go by opening up File, New, and this is sometimes the hardest part because we need to make sure this is the right size. So obviously change the name to alphabet. Normally we would have 8.5 by 11 by 72. That's a normal image, but we're making a real specialty image, which is a grid. And that grid is going to hold all of our letters for the alphabet. So we've decided that we're going to have 4 columns vertically of 7 rows to be 2 inches wide by 3 inches tall. So 4 times 2 is 8. So 8 inches wide. And then the height for each of the images is 3 inches. So if we go 7 times 3 is 21. So your grids will be 8 inches wide by 21 inches tall. So width, height, and then the resolution, 72 is fine. Because it's going to be a pretty large image, if we went anything over 72, it just would be too much to work with. So we'll hit OK. And you'll see it's kind of a long, skinny one like this. This is what it should look like. Again, you're going to have to do a lot of resizing because we're going to make columns here. And so it is incredibly important to have this ruler. If you don't have the rulers, you cannot do this step. So to get the rulers, just hit Command R. So you'll see there it pops them in and out. And if you have a wacky number, like mine, it should be 8 right there because I made it 8 inches. If yours doesn't say 8, you might want to just right click on it and click inches because yours is probably in centimeters. Okay, so it absolutely has to be like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is get you to play around with the Command plus and Command minus. Whenever you change the size of something, if it's like too big and you need it smaller, hit Command minus. Or if it's too small and you need it bigger, like what we're going to do, we're going to hit Command plus. Okay, so I always like to go to the top left-hand corner, which I know is 0 and 0. You can see that up here. So that's the top left-hand corner. And here is a really tricky part. Okay, so we're going to physically make the grid. And the grid is what's going to house our letters, and it's extremely important. So we're going to grab the Move tool. And then these now become extremely important. So I'm going to just zoom in here so you can see this. We're going to click, drag, and hold. Thanks. Click, drag, and hold from the ruler, and you're going to see this line appear. I'm still dragging, and I'm going to go to the 2 inches. And try to get it to line up as close as you can. And all of a sudden, you'll see this blue line appears. And it is exactly on the 2 inches. So I'm going to go over and do this 2 more times, so that'll make the vertical grid. So again, it's super easy. And now I know because every 2 inches, I'm going to have one of these for my vertical lines to make my 4. That's at 4 inches. So I know it's 0 to 2 is the first one, 2 to 4 is my second one, and then it's from 4 to 6. So I'm going to just click, hold, and drag on the ruler itself. Line it up at the number 4. Make sure it's as close as you can get. Awesome. So then we have the 2 and the 4, and I'm going to do the last one at the 6. So click, drag, and hold, and drop it at the 6. So I'm going to zoom out here, and now you're going to see it's divided perfectly into 4 lines. Or sort of 4 columns. So here's our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's awesome. So again, all of our images will fit in here, but now I have to do the vertical lines. So I know each of our small squares is going to be 2 inches wide by 3 inches tall. So I'm going to just zoom in again. And my first line is going to be at 3, or every 3 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll up here. Okay, and again, all you do is click, drag, and hold now on the other ruler. Click, drag, and hold, and you're going to see, sorry, the computer's just processing. There we go. Drop it right on the 3 inches. Okay, and then you go every 3 inches. So 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, just going a little slower. Okay, so 3, and then 6. Again, make sure this is lined up, because if you don't line these up, you're going to have a lot of problems later. So you can zoom in as much as you need to, but now you start to see these are kind of placeholders for our images. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this off pretty quickly. 3, 6, 9. Okay, 9, 12, 15. A lot of processing. Again, you shouldn't be as zoomed out as I am. I've done this many times. Okay. So again, you want to make sure that lines up perfectly. So 18. The biggest problem I have and I see students make is they make a mistake in counting. And then all of a sudden you'll see that one of these squares is a lot bigger than the other square. So all I do is hit Command minus and then zoom out. I always like to make sure I can see gray all the way around. And when you save this, these blue lines won't be there. The blue lines are just to help you line everything up. Grid. Again, to review the size, you can always check and change your size and your resolution by just going to Image, Image Size. Okay, so we made our width 8 inches, our height 21 inches, the resolution 72. Okay, and then what we did is made sure our rulers were on and the rulers were in inches. And then to get these little blue lines to make the grid, all we did is click, drag, and hold from the ruler. Again, make sure they're in inches, because if they're not, it's not going to look like this. Okay, so the next step is what I call just making the placeholders, just because we're not taking pictures in order. So like if I had an M, who knows where M is right in here? You'd have to count and it's going to waste a lot of time. So what I do is I make a new layer and I just call it the letters. Because when you're done this assignment, you're going to have 26 layers for sure, just for the alphabet, and then you're going to have another one here, which is going to be an image that we're going to create. So on this one, I'm just going to grab the brush tool, make it a small brush, doesn't really matter. This honestly is going to be deleted at the end. This is just to help us. So pick a color that's nice and bright, and then I'm going to write out the alphabet. Okay, make sure that's all in the same layer. A, B, C. It doesn't need to be pretty, but now we know where the letters go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and then eventually right here will be Z. Okay, and you'll notice that this is perfectly open. Okay, don't worry about that. Don't do anything with that until we do this as a class, because we're going to take some of these letters, put them together with a nice background, and then we're going to write a word. So this is going to be a word here. Awesome. So again, yes, fill out the rest of this, and then your grid is done. So you're going to save this, because this is extremely important. So you go Save As. So this is the basis for your first major assignment. Just tell them my regular. Yeah, so alphabet photography.psd. Remember I had my name's alphabet photography. Where would you like to save it? Your desktop is safe. Okay, so hit save. And now that is absolutely complete. So this is the first step to the alphabet photography process. The next step is actually getting your images in this grid. Okay, so this will be kind of like a 3-part video. I'm going to do that later on as more people start to take pictures. If you've already started taking pictures, what I want you to do is just get the pictures onto the computer. Don't try to get them in here, because there is a very, very specific way that I need these images imported, resized, and put in here. If you don't follow the instructions, it doesn't look good. You might think it'll work, but it doesn't, and it will definitely hurt your mark. Remember, this assignment is worth 10% of your grade. So if you didn't understand anything, make sure you go over the video, make sure you talk to me, and we will figure it out.